Last week at the Hockenheimring in Germany.
Nakib and Alif having a great battle.
Ooh, contact between the two of them.
Absolutely a belter of a race.
We saw Alif Hamilton with an absolute masterclass once again.
Amazing behind the wheel in anything he drives.
He is the benchmark.
Race 2 was a roller coaster, starting from P12 and moving up the order.
The other driver I thought was very impressive, Miko Nasi.
I think it was great to get a win in the second race.
Shouldn't have left the door open for Miko.
But Miko Nasi has shown to everybody else that Alif can be beaten.
Nasi takes the win in race 2 at Hockenheim.
Kalen Chin
He's one of the fastest young guns in the series.
Overall, Hockenheim was a pretty good week for me.
and Josh Perwin.
Excellent opening part.
I think as a team, we did everything right. We knew the strategy, we knew the fuel. It's just unfortunately that we had some punctures.
It was a tire puncture that led to his demise. Tonight's race at Watkins Glen, I think, is going to throw a little bit of a spanner in the works.
Sweeping corners, very high-speed chicane.
Bumpier, it's a bit more raw.
It's fixed setup tonight, and that's going to make it super exciting.
I think this is a good circuit for the likes of Josh Perwin.
I mean, Watkins Glen is a great track to race at, so I'm really excited for this.
I'm expecting Team Safe House to be a little bit creative.
It's all down to the driver, really.
Less time on fixing the car and more time fixing our driving.
Go head on, go very aggressive.
I hope I can fight within the top 10.
I'm not a huge fan of it.
I foresee a lot of accidents happening.
It's going to be very tricky.
Whoever can prepare the most, who does the most practice. If they put in the miles, we know they'll be up there.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Season 1 of the E1 Championship. Now, you may notice that things look a little different tonight, and no, we don't have a new studio. I'm actually quarantining at home, but don't worry, I'm feeling fine. In our actual studio, as usual, we have Alex Young, our race director, and Des Corkill, who will be commentating with him tonight. We have some awesome action tonight for round 3 in Watkins Glen. Don't forget that you can catch all of our races live on the EGG network every Wednesday at 9 p.m. in 18 different countries across the Asia Pacific. You can also catch us online on the E1 Championship and EGG Network's Facebook pages. Good evening, gents. I hope you both don't miss me too much. I'm going to start with you, Alex. The last round in Hockenheim, round 2, that was hectic to say the least. Are we going to see the same close racing tonight at Watkins Glen?
The question was, what's the racing going to be like at Watkins Glen tonight,
Well,
Alex?
okay, that was a question, and it was a good question, Daniel. It's going to be great. We saw at Hockenheim how exciting it was right to the end. I think it's going to be the same again because it's going to be a slipstream fest. Everyone's on fixed setup, so everyone's on the same car, so everyone have very similar performances. But most importantly, there's a long back straight where the DRS is going to have a big effect. So I think we're going to have a train of cars, peloton racing like we've seen sometimes in E1. It's going to be really difficult to call.
Well, I'm really looking forward to the racing tonight. And before we head into that action, let's take a little bit of a throwback and look at the highlights from round 2.
It's a good start there from Josh Bowen, but it's Kalen Chin to take the lead. Alif goes onto the inside, Kalen on the outside. Does Alif have the line? Yes, he does, but Kalen on the switchback. No, he's actually slipped it. Alif takes the lead.
Contact between the two of them.
It's Alif who takes victory here at Hockenheim. Race 2 is underway at Hockenheim. Alif is right behind Prezi Madonna.
He went right behind him, so dives down the inside of Azik. Great move by the Indian. Miko Nasi, he's got a puncher as well. And Miko Nasi's trying to get to the pit lane. Their cars are going all over the place. And Ibrahim going around the outside. Is he going to cover? Yes.
Nasi goes onto the inside. He punches Alif off. Alif's off the circuit. And Nasi takes the lead. Nasi takes the win in race 2 at Hockenheim.
A phenomenal way to end race. Overall final results, so Presley Martono fastest, race number 1, Ali for Hamilton picking up his 3rd win in succession, getting ahead of Naki Baslan. Kalen Chin a very good P3, but race 2 was just sensational. Miko Nasi picking up 25 points, edging out Alif on the last lap of a phenomenal 30-minute reverse grid race. In the point standings for that week, Alif still picked up 46 to increase his lead at the top, but Miko is back in business and we have got a championship.
Hockenheim was great. We had such great racing. But Des, this question's for you. We've had quite a few upsets in round 2. We had Alif's winning streak cut short by Miko Nasi in race 2. Couldn't make it 4 for 4. Our reigning champion Nakib Aslan has yet to win a race. And our previously consistent team RSG have yet to get any podiums. Is season 1 going to continue being a season of surprises?
Early days in the season, but I tell you what, if somebody like Alif Hamilton makes the kind of start that he has, it can be a little bit intimidating for everybody else. That's why I thought that last week's last lap bang from Miko Nasi, where he edged Alif out off the track, that will have encouraged absolutely everybody. And I think this Watkins Glen circuit is going to be good for the likes of Josh Berwin, who's very quick, Tadashi if he can get his confidence up, but also look out for Mika Hakimi. He's a wild card who could come good.
Well, we have to look out for how our drivers will perform in qualifying. And looking at round 2, there were quite a number of drivers that had a good qualifying but weren't able to put it together in the race, namely Presley Martono, Josh Perwin, and Inigo Anton. Now, qualifying is a big part of any race, so let's take a look at our fast qualifiers from round 2.
He's got fastest in sector 1. He's purple through sector 2 again, and that's a good last corner. Josh Perwin, he's on another lap as well. Kalen Chin, he's just gone second quickest as well. Khalifa's now coming through. Will this be good enough to snatch pole? No, not able to do it.
He definitely had the DRS trying to overtake Alif, but Alif was very aware of it to prevent Martono. Presley Martono tries to go to the inside, but Nabil actually has a better run.
Josh Perwin just struggled there.
Unfortunately for him, he actually got nicked completely by the two of them. I think it's a puncture!
Josh has got a pit puncher. Cars are going all over the place.
So Kalen Chin taking the whole shot into the lead. Kalen's now coming back at Nakib Aslan.
Kalen Chin down the inside, Nakib. Good move.
Alif will now go for it. He takes the lead. Alif who takes victory. Alif who takes the lead. Alif comes in second. He looks a bit disconsolate.
So, Alex, let's put a bit of a spotlight on some of those drivers that did well in qualifying. Why weren't they able to put it together in the race? Because 2 of those drivers that did very well are actually very experienced real-life motorsport drivers.
Well, I think slightly different reasons. We saw Presley with pole position. I think he's still a bit inexperienced in RaceRoom and trying to understand how to manage the tires and the fuel as it comes off. So he wasn't getting the most of the car in the race. You can see the tire wear went off and then he was nowhere towards the end of the race. So he'll get better with that, you know, because he's a real-life driver, he's got a lot of racecraft, and he'll get better with that for sure. Inigo, on the other hand, even though he's a real-life race driver, you feel his racecraft needs to improve a little bit more. Sometimes he makes the wrong decisions at key moments. But all these drivers, you know, Kalen Chin's another one, have all got great speed and are capable of winning. They just need to try and curate the whole weekend where it builds up from practice to qualifying into the race so that they are just at the right place, at the right tire wear, the right fuel, and doing the lap times when it's needed to win.
Well, I completely agree. In racing, you can't just be fast, you have to have good racecraft too. So let's take a look at some of the best overtakes from round 2.
Kalen on the outside. Does Ali have the line? Yes, he does. But Kalen on the switchback gets back at him and he retakes the lead. Great driving from both of them. Kalen then holding on for dear life here. His tires. No, he's actually slipped it. Alif will now go for it. He takes the lead.
Kalen Chin down the inside of Nakib. Good move. It's Kalen Chin and Nakib fighting hard. And Nakib there runs wide down. Kalen Chin overtakes.
What a move. What a move from Kalen. They go side by side through the hairpin. Somehow Nakib hangs it around the outside. Nasi goes onto the inside. Nasi goes onto the inside of the Mercedes-Benz Arena. Does he make the mistake? Yes, he does. Nasi goes onto the inside. He pushes Alif off. Alif's off the circuit. And Nasi takes the lead. Nasi takes the win in race 2 at Hockenheim in dramatic circumstances.
As we can tell from Amir's commentary, we had some mega overtakes in round 2. But Alex, I noticed that some of our drivers that come from real motorsport backgrounds seem to be a little bit more aggressive with their overtaking style and a bit more argy-bargy with their moves. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I first got into sim racing, I was knocking people all over the place, left, right, and center. I mean, real life drivers, they drive to the risk level, you know, and if you're not going to get hurt, you go right to the limit. But real life drivers, they need to calm down, because obviously if it becomes a free-for-all, then it becomes all about luck and not really, it stops being a sport. So eventually they calm down. That's why it's very important to have the stewarding very hot. We need to be on top of things. You know, Razamin, who are our chief steward, to really make sure that they penalize anyone who's naughty. Otherwise, you know, it stops being a sport.
And aggressiveness aside, what about you, Des? Any standout moves for you from round 2?
I just want to disagree utterly with that fella over there. Alex Young, what's the word I'm after? Conservative. Let's get the fighting going. Let's get the knocks. Let's use the fact that it's e-racing. Let's really go for it. Amo, brilliant in commentary. We want to get excited. We want to get energized. We want to see crashes, because you can't do it in real racing. So let's make the most of the advantage that we've got. Boo, boo, boo.
He's not the one they complain to. They complain to us.
You make a very good point, Des. Now, round 2 wasn't just about aggressive overtakes. It had plenty of other spanners in the works as well. Let's go and take a look and see why we call round 2 a Royal Rumble.
Oh! And Jason Tay! Oh! Almost survived somehow. Look, Alif covers the inside. Ooh! Contact between the two of them.
Ooh! When they're both battling. Oh! I think it's a puncture! Nakib actually has a puncture.
Miko Nasi, he's got a puncture as well. And Miko Nasi's trying to get it to the pit lane. The cars are going all over the place. Oh, as they come very, very late on the brakes.
Oh no, he spun it. He spun it in the pit lane. And who's that with our nose cone? It's actually Nakib.
How exciting was that? I loved round 2. Des, reckon we're going to get that same argy-bargy tonight? Are your wishes going to come true?
I certainly hope so. Let's get ready to rumble. I like a little bit of aggression. Obviously, I'm going over the top at the moment. I do like the aggression, though. I like people taking chances. Watkins Glen, I think the guys are going to have to take chances, because the rules, as Alex will explain later, slightly different this week. Everyone's in the same vehicle, so you're just going to have to make that gamble, and so we might have another Royal Rumble, this time in the United States.
Well, that wraps up the key highlights from last week. Let's take a look at the top 5 in the championship standings at the moment. Over to you, Des and Alex.
Yeah, in the top 5, well, Alif is leading the way, 101 points, but remember, you do drop around. Mohamed Ibrahim has quietly come through into P2. Nakib Aslan is looking for a championship. He's in P3 on 55. But Miko Nasi and Nabil, the brother of Nakib, they make the top 5. All very, very competent racers. And if you move into the overall team standings, well, Team Flash leading the way, 155 points. Jason Tay is a very good ally or foil to Alif. Nakib and Ibrahim, as you saw, they're both in the top 3. Now it's a big weekend for Mika and Amin Hakim. They can't look to get too far behind. To see the ERacing GP team in the top 4 is phenomenal. And Arwin Tarunya, he's been quick in practice. Let's look out for him and Miko Nasi to improve their position from P5.
Now, the driver standings are really interesting. We've seen some of our consistent kings from Season 0, like Ayman Hakim, falling out of our top 5, and Nabil Aslan taking his spot. Des, what do you make of this? What's going on this season?
So I think it's fabulous for Nabil, because he has to qualify every week for the ERacing GP team. Alex has put a qualification that they've got to get in to earn that drive. And not only does he qualify, he's come in and he's scored points in all 4 of his races so far. 8th is his worst position. I'm delighted to see new names coming into the reckoning. Alif, of course, is new to us here. So it means that the other guys, the regular guys, the likes of Ayman Hakim, they've got to work that little bit harder. It's great.
Now, Alex, at the front of the field, looking at the teams, Team Flash themselves, the orange cars, are pulling a bit of a gap. Is it going to be too late for the other teams to catch up in the championship standings?
Oh, it's never too late, especially because we're only round 2. We've only done 2 rounds of 8, so there's still plenty of time to catch up. And like Des mentioned, there is a drop round. People have to drop between rounds 1 and 7, which will close things up. And of course, 8th round is double points, so it's not over till it's over.
That's right, Alex. It's not over till it's over. Are we still going to get the same top 5 coming out of round 3? Well, we shall find out very soon tonight at Watkins Glen, where we're also going to be introducing a Joker format. Alex and Des, I should say, walk us through tonight's track and format, please.
Yeah, then at Watkins Glen, let's have a look. There's 8 rounds that we have in this championship. We've been to the Red Bull Ring in Hockenheim. Today we're at Watkins Glen, Suzuka next week. Then we go back over to Europe, and Alex will talk us through Watkins Glen. Great circuit.
Watkins Glen is a really fast track. You only brake, I think, like 2 or 3 times a lap in a FX17 car. So it's very, very fast, sweeping corners, really exciting to drive. Fairly difficult track to learn. And get right. You're going through these corners so quickly. And of course, I'm going to go onto it a bit, but we have fixed setup this weekend. But you are allowed a choose your tire compound. So there's a soft and a medium tire, hard tire to choose from. So teams will be trying to get that right to try and maximize the strategy. And here it is, the Joker format. Normally, setups are open. So aero, spins, dampers, ride heights, camber, toe gears, you can always adjust that to optimize the car for the track and for the driver. This weekend, the Joker format, it's fixed, so you can't change anything.
It's a 5-minute qualification period that determines the starting position. You do pick up points. Then we've got a 15-minute race 1, followed by a reverse grid race where we roll the dice to find out how many places you have to go in reverse. 25, 20, 16 points for each of the races. That's 1, 2, 3. The top 15 all qualify. You pick up bonus points as well for the qualification periods as well. And then the man at the end of the day, or it could be the woman because Leona is in there, at the end of the season will pick up a grand old $5,000. That is worth having. Runners up second, third and fourth, 4, 3, 2 and $1,000. I'll have that, please.
And that's it for our pre-race show. I'm personally very excited to see what's going to happen in qualifying and the races with the Joker format. We always talk about how important the teams are in setting up the cars to go faster. With a bit more of an even playing field tonight, so we're really going to see which drivers have a bit more talent than the others. We have qualifying coming up right after this break, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the E1 Championship. We're here at Watkins Glen for round 3 of season 1. Now, for all of our viewers who didn't hear it earlier on in our pre-race show, we do have a little bit of a fixture change tonight. We have a Joker format, and that means that all the drivers have the same car setup. It means it puts more emphasis on the driver's talent to come out in front. So this is my question to you, both you, Alex and Des. Who do you think is going to extract the most out of this opportunity? Or are all the drivers going to be penalized equally?
I think the teams whose drivers we know are very quick, but maybe not so experienced in RaceRoom, teams like Z Challenger perhaps, Black Wolf might help them as well, the Vietnamese team, because those are teams that are not very experienced with the FX17 car doing the setup. So maybe they're not at the maximum, at the best of maximizing the setup. So I think those teams, the drivers are going to be a lot closer. Other than that, I don't know what's going to happen in the front. I still think we won't see that much of a change. I still think Alif will be up there, Nakib, Miko, all those drivers will be at the front.
But the circuit itself also helps a little bit because it's a very flowy circuit. And as Alex was explaining before, you don't brake too often. So if you're not braking too often, you're not worrying too much, and you can look for top speed, pick up the slipstream, and try and use the DRS as much as possible. So I'm expecting a Josh or an Akeem to come into the reckoning this week.
Yeah.
Well, I love that little bit of uncertainty. Hopefully it promotes a little bit more of that argy-bargy, Des, and make your wishes come true. Now, qualifying is going to come underway very, very soon, but first I'll hand it over to you, Alex and Des, to talk us through our driver lineup and then take us into the practice session.
Okay, so here we are, our reigning champion, Stratos Motorsports from Malaysia, and of course Nakib Aslan carrying the number 1, and his new teammate for this year, Mohammed Ibrahim from India, who's proven to be extremely quick.
Pretty quick team, our team Safe House, Arwin Tarunya, who's been very quick in practice for today. Miko Nasi won race 2 last week, so he's in form. Expect Team Safe House to offer a real threat.
And then RSG, they were the runner-up team last year. Of course, Ayman Hakim finished second in the championship. An all-Malaysian team, Mika Hakimi, who's only 18 years old, is a second driver there who's finished on the podium many, many times.
Scuderia Stratos need to get their act together because neither Troy or Arif Azmi have really got to grips with this season. P6 is the best result so far for Troy. We're expecting better from the teenagers.
Okay, and now the Philippines team, GT Radio Eurasia, led by Inigo Anton, age 17, in car number 9. He's had pole 3 times already, very, very quick. And then his teammate, Joaquin Garrido, who's only 15 years old.
I always mention Daniel because he's the old man of the team, makes me feel at home. 46 years of age, but no points this season. Kalen Chin, the number 11 from Australia, just 14. Second in qualifying last week, P3 in race 1.
And they've got I1 Racing, the Brunei-based team. Benjamin Seek in car number 17, and Lance Lau, also from Brunei, in car number 18. I love the turquoise color of this car.
Presley Martono can be very quick in the JMX Phantom. He was fastest in qualifying last week and picked up a P8. Fadli Rakhmat just 10 points, needs to get into gear, does fast Fadli.
And then behind them, of course, the Black Arts Racing, probably the most successful single-seater real-life race team in Asia. And they're led by Josh Perwin from Australia, age 19. And of course, Alistair Young in the second car, age 18.
Z Challenger coming from Hong Kong, Jack Din Jung, the 23-year-old, and 70-year-old Jay Yang from Taiwan. And only 4 points for Jay so far. Come on, boys, we need your points.
And then championship leaders right now, Team Flash. Leading the Drivers' Championship with Muhammad Alif, and of course the Team Championship, Jason Tay, who just joined us in round 2, proving to be very quick, and he's 25 years old.
Good evening, Vietnam! Wake up, Long and Dang. You need to get some points, only 2 points so far this season. There is your wake-up call.
And then after that, we have the celebrity couple of Funny Man, Whelan Choi in car number 23, and of course the Drift Queen, Leona Chin in car 24. They're always going well and highly entertaining.
Completing our 28-person grid. Look out for Nabil Aslan. He qualifies every week and is in the points every week. Top 8 in all 4 races this season. A debut for the season for Jin Masvilton from Singapore.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. The E1 Championship in Season 1 has such a strong driver lineup. I'm going to hand it over to Alex and Des to walk us through what these drivers are up to in practice right before qualifying.
Well, Des.
Thanks very much, Dan. Yes, so practice is just about finished, literally, as we go. Let's get on board because they've got 5 minutes to put in a fast lap. Presley Martono last week, Alex, was very, very quick. We're just waiting for qualification to begin. There's about a 30-second gap between practice and qualification. 28 races on the start grid, though. It's not really caused us a problem yet, has it?
And he just did a 14.9 in practice. That's phenomenally quick. Just talking to some of the drivers already, they thought low 15s possible, maybe 14s. So to be 14s right now is incredible because the worldwide leaderboard for RaceRoom, the fastest lap there is a 15. So these guys are going quicker than anyone has ever gone in these cars.
Presley Martono, as we said, fastest last week. Do you want to stick with him for a full lap, Alex? We've got him on the inset just to prove this is the fast sweeping corner 2, 3 and 4.
Yeah, here we go through the S's right now. Easily flatten these cars, even the DRS Open, all the way up this long straight. And then you head for the inner loop. It doesn't have a corner name, but look at how much speed they carry through the chicane. Oh, he got a monster the curbs like that. Oh, and the way he got the car rotated there, seriously impressive.
Fastest through Sector 1.
And fastest through Sector 1. He just goes through the outer loop. It goes into the chute now, which then leads to turn 6, this left-hander. It's long corner there. Perfect amount of curb use before this turn 7. It's called the toe. And it goes uphill quite steeply. You always get a little bit of understeer somewhere, and he just about uses all the road and a bit more before coming down to the heel, turn 8. You go over the brow here. This is one of the few corners where you have to brake quite hard. And again, oh, too much. He's gone too much, and he's run wide. That's going to cost him lap time before going through turn 9. And that's right. He'll have to restart.
Kalen Chin is fastest as we speak, though. Fastest. Oh, and Kalen's decided to pull out. That means that Ayman Hakim Tadashi, who was quickest, but nobody set a proper time. Kalen, well, there is Kalen bottom left. Tadashi is the one we are with at the moment. Tadashi P4. You said they'd get into the 115s, and Naqib Aslam has got into the 115.1 period. Alex, who else should we stick with?
That's really good. I want to go with Inigo Anton because I think he'll be on a quick lap as well. Here we are, Inigo Anton. Oh, how much speed he was carrying there through the outer loop into the chute now, turn 6. We'll see what the sectors come up, but he'll be very exciting to watch. We are on board with him right now. Now we come to the heel. again, uphill. Ooh, he goes down to second gear, gets the car rotated. That's quite clever with fixed setup. Sometimes his cars have too much understeer, and Inigo's going down to a lower gear to rotate the car, which is a good idea. This is where Presley Martona went wide, but Inigo just about perfect. Now we're onto the penultimate, not almost the penultimate corner. This corner's always got a lot of understeer, but no problem.
But he
now
hasn't
we're
got a time, Alex. He hasn't got a time.
He's got
Yes,
purple
he has.
sector 1. Purple sector 2, that is. Now goes to the last corner. One more corner to go, Des, as he goes across the start-finish line.
And fastest Inigo Anton. You picked up the perfect racer. A look of quiet satisfaction on the man from the Philippines. Inigo looking very, very good. Now we're back with Presley. He's stopped again.
Wow.
Right. How about our championship leader? Where is Muhammad Alif Hamilton?
Wow,
there
he's
he
in
is.
10th position.
10th position at the moment for Alif.
Okay, the championship leader is under pressure right now. Comes into the chute. Let's see how he goes through turn 6 here.
700s down.
700s down. That's within fighting range. Oh, he doesn't use all the curb there, so he didn't carry as much speed as, say, Inigo or Presley when he went through here. Let's see, is he down to second here? Can't quite tell. He doesn't quite use all the road there, so it doesn't quite look as quick as Inigo Anton. Looked really impressive through those 2 corners. But this will not be far away. Oh! Alif there, almost using track limits there, but he looks okay. This corner is very, very tricky. Oh, he misses the apex. He misses the apex of the penultimate corner there. And yeah, he's lost 3/10 there. It's his fastest time. This will be an improvement, but it won't be good enough for the front row.
Nakib Aslan is the man who is on the front row at the moment. Josh Perwin has also gone very quick. Muhammad Alif Hamilton got himself up into P6. Anton drops down to 3. Have a look at this. Jack Ding Chung. Wow, it's the fastest that we've seen from the Hong Kong racer.
Yeah.
He's 6 at the moment, Alex, and he's 400s down.
400s off. So this is what we were talking about earlier. The fixed setup will help teams like Z Challenger because they don't have that much experience with the car. They don't know how to set up the car so as well as the others. And now, because everyone's running the same setup, we're seeing how quick Jackton is. And here it is, only 400s down. I thought that that right-hander before this corner was a little bit messy. But we're coming to the end of Sector 2 now, so we should see how far away he is. He crosses the Sector 2 line now, and he is, he's had a messy middle sector, so he's 7/10 down. It's not going to improve, but still, P6 is the best starting position we've seen from the Hong Kong driver.
Nakib Aslan will be fastest. Josh Perwin and Inigo Anton, who are on board with, tell you what, more points for Mohammed Ibrahim and Tadashi in P5, unless somebody can come in with a late challenge. Alistair Young in P7. Alif will only start in P8. That is a bit of a surprise, Alex Young.
Yeah, that is a bit of a surprise. Don't forget, because he had the most points from round 2, he is carrying a little bit more ballast, but so is Nakib, so is Miko. Josh, though, Josh is not carrying any, he's carrying a very tiny amount of ballast. I think he's got like 2 kilograms of ballast, not much at all. So great job by Josh and Inigo Anton. They're going to be challenging Nakib very hard over that first lap.
You mentioned Miko Nasi, P13 only for Miko. Won race 2 last week. He's not inconsistent, but
yeah,
he's good enough to come from P13.
Yeah, he is. I think it's very close right now. Everyone is getting closer and closer and closer. So if you are carrying that bit of ballast, you don't quite get the perfect lap, you're going to be outside the top 10.
Looking forward to this. Nakib Aslan on pole. Hasn't had a victory so far this season. Josh Perwin also very, very quick around Watkins Glen.
Let's try and talk to Nakib, shall we? Just see how we are doing right now. We'll just go on board with Nakib, see if we can talk to Nakib. Nakib, wow, that was a good lap. I know you were very disappointed with round 2, where you didn't ace your qualifying, but how was that lap? Looks like you aced it this time.
Yeah, it was. Finally, I think I hooked it up really nicely. Still not a perfect one. I think there's still a 10th or 2 there. But happy that it was enough for pole, and now looking forward to race 1.
Okay, I have to ask, fixed setup. How tough is it driving the cars with fixed setup? And it's made the field super close, though.
Yeah, so fixed setup, it's really difficult. I think it's a lot more understeer than what we normally would like. Normally we'd set up for a better front end, but the beauty of fixed setup is that the best driver comes on top, so whoever can master it will be fastest.
Oh, that must mean you're talking about yourself. Congratulations on the pole position.
Thank you.
What's going to happen in the race? Is the DRS going to be a big factor? Is it going to be a slipstream fest?
For sure. I think the DRS is going to be so strong, especially with the long straight. So it's going to be a 200 mile an hour chess game, so it's going to be fun.
Okay. Well, I know you got to get ready for race 1, so we'll leave you there. Good luck.
Thank you.
He's a very cool customer.
Actually,
Nakib, isn't he? This is just a few seconds before the race, and he's calm as you like.
But you know what? It's not really a chess game. I was just thinking about it the other day. It's a high-speed poker game because you are bluffing and you're hiding your cards and you're bluffing. It's not really chess. You have to think about it like a chess game, but the way you have to bluff people and take risks and take calculated risks, it's a poker game. And that's what I love about it. It's going to be a good race, I feel.
A reminder that we've got 2 races coming your way. You've got this 15-minute sprint, and then we've got a 30-minute reverse grid race where very often pit stops come into the reckoning. That depends on the tyre wear that you put on the racers. They're all your best mates this week, are they?
Well, I mean, we completely, it's a lottery. We draw cards, so to speak, and that's how we decide what sort of fuel wear, tyre wear it's going to be. Fuel to this week, for this tonight, was going to be ×1, so that's normal. But tyre wear is ×3. ×3 is a lot, and it makes it really tough for the drivers to look after the tyre wear. But having said that, in the first 2 rounds, we had ×4. So they are given a little bit of break. It's not as bad as it was the previous round. However, this track is really tough with tyre wear. So while they won't pit in race 1, in race 2 you should see them pitting. But the front tyres really get stuffed with this setup, with this fixed setup. So they're really going to be struggling to look after those front tyres with ×3 tyre wear.
Josh Perwin, we didn't mention. He P2 once again. He's suddenly coming into form, this young Aussie.
Yes, he is. You know, he's a mega sim driver. You know, he's quick across many platforms, especially iRacing and R Factor. You know, he's one of the best sim racers in the world. And we've seen him winning in RaceRoom now, and that's really good to see. Let's see if he can win today, and if that might inspire him or bring his confidence up to another level where he can maybe fight for the championship too.
Inigo Anton also coming in 3P. The drivers are just going through a bit of a warm-up session at the moment, so they've done qualification, they've had that adrenaline. We give them a bit of time so we can get an interview just to give you a little bit of a flavour on what's going on. Now they're through to a warm-up session, but Inigo, we were on board with Inigo Anton, and he is consistently quick.
Yeah, I mean, Inigo Anton. Okay, so actually we saw him in so Inigo, we have no doubts about his speed. You know, a lot of times at pole positions. He's still a young driver though, real life driver as well. But we've seen with a lot of sim races, especially here on the RaceRoom game, sometimes he can be a bit naive in some of the decisions he makes. So that's why you've seen him always be at the front, but not quite lose out on those battles and not actually win the race. So he's not my favorite to win today because his racecraft still needs to improve a bit, but it would be good to see him see if he can try and finish on the podium today. I mean, he's going to have a lot of close competition. There's not only has he got Josh Perwin and Nakib around him, some of the other drivers. Alif is just there, Alistair is there, and of course Presley Martono. We know how quick he is. He did not put together his qualifying time. He'll be a lot quicker in the race.
Okay. Well, we're just waiting for the game to get underway. First 15 minutes worth. Are we on Discord with anyone? Is anyone available to talk?
Ah, we can talk to Daniel. Anyway, we are in the garage now. We are coming down to race 1. Race 1 is about to start, so only 50 seconds to go. So this is where the guys will be setting the fuel and the tire. They're selecting the tire. I think everyone's going to choose a hard tire because we are at ×3 tire wear, so that will be an issue. But they need to select how much fuel so that they don't carry any more fuel than they need. And by doing that, once those settings are set, and then you see the cars get teleported from the pit lane into the grid.
Watkins Glen is the venue. Sorry, Dan, after you.
Well, we have a little bit of time. We've got 20 seconds. Alex, give us a quick summary of how a driver can change their driving style if the setup doesn't really quite agree with them.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll soon see anyway. About to go. Red light's about to come out. Only 10 more seconds before the red lights come out.
Nakib Aslan is the man who is on pole position. The Malaysian is looking to sort out a first victory of this season. Season 1, when the red lights go out, we are underway. Nakib in the Stratos green is off to a flyer. Nakib flies away. Inigo Anton also pulls away nicely. Ibrahim drops off. Josh Perwin is just leading that gaggle. But Nakib Aslan, he's pulled out best part of 3/10 of a second.
Wow, then they're coming down the back straight into the inner loop. It's going to be very close indeed as they come over the curb. Look how much curb they have to use. Very attacking. But Josh Powen up to P2 and Inigo Anton in P3. Oh, Mohammed Ibrahim up to 4th position. That's a good job by him.
Well, he dropped down and then he's got himself back up once again. But Tadashi in P5, Alistair Young, your boy in 6, Fadli Rakhmat and Kalen Chin completing the top 8. But look at this. Alif Hamilton, Alex, has meandered his way up into P9.
Wow, so he's lost a couple of places. Did not get the start off the line that he wants. And here he is following Young as they break for the heel. And then they are coming through nicely.
Alif in P9 goes just on the inside. He moves up one place. It was Kalen Chin who he just edged through there. And then Kalen Chin tries to take that back. There is the battle between the two of them. So Team Flash, who are the championship leaders, up against Kalen Chin, who is at last coming into a little bit of form, is Kalen Chin. He's currently in P9 and he's got Fadli and Hamilton in front of him. And also, we've got to mention your boy, Alistair Young, is guest driving today, Alex. He's got himself up into P6 as Alistair.
Yeah, he's doing a good job there. Only 3/10 off pole. I think that's the closest he's been. He's a real-life driver, not really a sim driver. And for him to get up there is a good result indeed.
Josh Perwin is the new race leader. Josh has overtaken Naqib Aslan. So Naqib got off to a top start, but Josh Perwin, who I expected to be quick here, Alex, has got himself into P1. And if we look, they have got a 2-second lead over Inigo Anton. Now, DRS becomes a real factor. Just explain the intricacies of how this works.
Okay, so you know what I think is happening? I think Josh and Naqib are going to work together to try and pull the gap to 3rd place. So what happens is, when you're within a second of the car in front, the leader can never have DRS. But if you're a second away from the car in front, and look at that, Naqib's only half a second behind Josh Perwin, you get the DRS 3 times on the next lap. So they come across the finish line now, so Naqib can use DRS 3 times. DRS is when the rear wing folds back. So he's going to come out of this corner now, he's going to hit the DRS button, and it will cause the rear wing to come back, and which will shed downforce and shed drag. You can see it here right now. See the rear flap, it's open right now, and that allows him to have a lot quicker straight line speed, and that allows him then to overtake Josh, and Josh is now to P2. So that's one use of the DRS. He's got 2 more uses of DRS for this lap before another lap starts, and if Josh is within a second of Naqib, then Josh will get DRS for the next lap. So these drivers are really experienced, and this is what they're doing. See, Josh is not fighting Naqib when Naqib went by, because they're going to try and use DRS to keep leapfrogging each other to work to get away from the cars behind. It's a bit like peloton racing in cycling, and it's very, very strategical.
However, they're not on the same team, Alex, so I'm a little bit mystified here. Why would you work on that way? Because surely you'd want your teammate to be helping you, because if they are the two at the front, then it's a straight fight between them.
Absolutely. So ideally, yes, but they're not. So they're not teammates. So this is what's happens in cycling as well. You think to yourself, right, okay, do I work with him or do I not work with him? And I think, but most people go, I'm going to work with him. You know why? Because then I got a 50% chance of winning this race. Because if I don't, and the 3 other guys come up and join us, then I might only have a 1 in 5 chance of winning this race. So it's what they're doing. So now Josh will have the DRS. You can see him coming closer to the back of Naqib. The DRS is so strong here because you're running a fixed setup, and fixed setup runs a lot of wing. So when you have the DRS, you just go back like that. So no one's going to want to lead this race on the last lap. But for now, these two aren't worrying about it. They're just using the DRS. So they're helping each other to just try and make sure that they get a nice break from the field behind.
Let's move to that field behind. So we focused a lot on the leading 2. Inigo Anton is leading a little train of 3. You've got Inigo, Mohammed Ibrahim in the green Stratos, and Tadashi, Ayman Akeem Tadashi. We said for Team RSG that they are going to make an impact here. Mohammed Nabil, slow down penalty. But Inigo Anton leading that little group of 3, but you look back, ooh, he's got himself a little bit of lead there from Mohammed Ibrahim. But these 3 need to work as a mini team as well, Alex, because P6, you've got a certain fella called Mohammed Alif Hamilton.
That's right, but Alif is 2 seconds off the gap right now, and you're absolutely right. So the first 3 in front of them need to work together, because if they start squabbling, then you're going to see Alif and Kalen just join them, and then that's going to make the battle very hard.
So that's the gap between Mohammed Alif. We're on board with Alif at the moment as Kalen Chin gets a slowdown penalty for track limits abuse. So did Tadashi. Tadashi is the man in P5. So that's Tadashi going through there. Alif is the man just behind him. Kalen Chin is just behind them. So that's the battle for P3. Let's look further down. Miko Nasi is making progress, Alex. Miko has got himself up into P10.
Yeah, that's right. So Miko Nasi's done a good job to get out to P10. He's obviously didn't get the qualifying he wants. And you know what? He's all over the back of Alistair Young. If he can just get past Alistair, you've got Fadli Rakmak and Alif just ahead of him.
It's P10 for him. Again, going further down, Mika Hakimi, who was expecting to do pretty well. Mika is struggling in P14 at the moment. He's just been overtaken by Presley Martono and by Jason Tay.
Yeah, so I think that was Martono just getting a bit too aggressive, trying to get past Tay and then just drop behind Tay and Hakimi. So Hakimi, yeah, he's got a bit more time. Yeah, outside the top 10, that's not where he needs to be. But yeah, he's right behind Jason Tay. So he's going to get DRS on this next lap. So he needs to be clever. If he can use DRS to get past Jason down this next long straight, then maybe he can use DRS 2 more times to then close the gap to the cars in front, which is that gaggle of cars with Rakhmat, Young and Nasi.
We need to go back to the very, very front as we look there for Jason Tay as well. Nakib Aslan is the race leader. He's nearly over a second clear of Josh Perwin. Right. Is he making his move at the moment, Alex?
Yes, he is. So he's been clever. He managed to use DRS to overtake Josh a lot earlier in the lap than he normally does. So now he's got 2 more DRSs. What he's going to try and do is he's going to push very hard to try and see if he can get it above a second. Because if he can get it above a second, that will allow him to stay out in front. So he's got DRS, he's got 1 more use of DRS down the start finish straight. But Josh, Josh knows this is a critical time of the race. Josh knows he can't afford to lose 1/10 of a second here. He has to nail this right now. Oh, just over track limits there. But that's how hard Josh is pushing. What's his 9/10? Is that going to go over a second as he goes across the line? No, it's still within a second. So Josh survives. He survives. He should have DRS still as he comes out of turn 1. You can look at him on the bottom right, how concerned Josh is looking. Josh knows it's the key part of the race.
A little bit further down, onto P6. Kalen Chin is leading Mohammed Alif. So maybe the ballast is hurting Mohammed Alif Hamilton, who won race 1, 2 and 3. So it's a wonderful start to the season. And then Alif goes past Kalen Chin because he's got DRS. But the ballast is working, Alex. Your equalising seems to be having the desired effect.
Yeah, and I think it's as Alif goes a bit wide there. But I also think it's working more than normal because it's fixed setup today. So we know how quick the flash car is. Obviously, that Team Flash car has an excellent setup on that car. But now we're on fixed setup. They have lost that advantage, and it's a lot more even at the moment.
Okay, we haven't mentioned a little bit further down Fadli Rakmat. You mentioned him earlier. Look at the midfield scrapping that's going on there. Miko, Fadli Rakmat, Jack Ding Tung, Jason Tay all together there. Fadli is currently in P7. It's Miko who's in front of him, and Fadli's going to lose a place to Jack Ding Tung. Jack Ding has the inside. Good racing from Jack Ding, good defending from Fadli Rakmat. In fact, Jack Ding loses a place and moves down to P11.
Yeah, but he's got a good slipstream now. He's right behind Jason Tay. Oh, he's defending as well. And look, this is perfect for Miko Nasi. Picking the black safe house car, seeing everyone squabbling behind him. So he's going to try and break the gap. And but the problem for Nasi is he's 4 seconds off the car in front of him, so he has no DRS. So he's going to be a sitting duck, and he is, as the cars just stream by him.
Nasi loses out to Fadli Rakmat and to Jason Tay and to Presley Martono. Presley doesn't quite get past there. So that is the scrap down at the bottom end. We're coming into the final third of this race, Alex. A bit of a chance maybe just to have a mention of those who we don't often see. Ben Seek down in P21. Let's have a look and see how Ben is driving at the moment. Racing out of Brunei, but a long way off the pace.
Yeah, so Ben and his teammate Lance Lau just behind him have just lost the DRS of the cars in front, so they're in no man's land right now. if you're at the back like this and you lose a DRS, the others just leave you. So unfortunately, they'll have to try and learn from this in race 2 and try and make sure that they stay on the train. Because it's going to be very tough for them to catch up.
And the best of our Vietnamese friends is Le Hoang Vinh. Let's have a look at him. He's in P23 at the moment, struggling a little bit. It's a different class that these guys are racing in at the moment.
Yeah, he is. So it's part of the learning process. Vietnam is brand new to e-racing, simulator racing, and it's great to see him there with us, but still a long way to go. And Josh Perwin is back in front.
Josh Perwin, the race leader for about the 5th time, to be fair. Naqib Aslan is very close. So that was important before. Naqib did not break the DRS 2 laps ago. Josh worked so hard. I heard you do a little, one of your famous O's as he went down that final corner. It was an effort worth taking for Josh.
Yes, it was. So, but now it's 3 minutes to go. This is where it could get interesting, though, because they're going so quickly. They're starting to come against back markers, and back markers could influence this fight.
Last lap, 1:17.5, 1:18.1 for Naqib Aslan. Inigo is 2 seconds down in P3. This has been the battle for P1 ever since the first corner. Naqib got off to a flyer, Josh was dragged along with him, and they've been 1 and 2 ever since.
Yeah, you know what, Naqib is really close to Josh at the moment. And now he's going to have DRS. So he's going to try and do the same thing he did a couple minutes ago. He's going to try and use DRS to get past Josh and maybe see if he can break that toe.
Black Arts Racing looking backwards into Naqib Aslan. That's the gap between 1 and 2. It's 0.3 of a second, but Naqib begins to close, and it's like the jaws of a crocodile.
I tell you what, Josh, Naqib is getting tactical. He was not using DRS just now. He's decided to sit behind Josh Perwin until the last lap. That's super risky, though, because the cars behind, they're only 2 seconds away. And if these guys start playing funny games, they start sandbagging. It's like watching the cycling race, and they are getting too close to the end, and they're all trying to watch each other, so that because no one wants to sprint too early because they're going to get caught before the line. So they're looking at each other right now, and that means the cars behind, Inigo Anton, Ayman Hakim, and Mohammed Ibrahim, are closing down on them.
Well, they just came into view there. It's just over 2 seconds. What we've got this lap to finish, one other complete lap. So we've got 2.5 laps to go. Can Inigo close in 2.5 laps?
They can if they start sandbagging. So 2 minutes to go. So what's that?
2 laps.
2 laps to go. So you don't want to be leading on the last lap, do you? So you can see Mika Hakimi, he's hanging back as well. He's not trying to overtake Inigo because he wants to stay there for the last lap. So this is where all the strategy comes in as they try and sprint towards the line. Only 2 more laps to go. See, Mika's getting a lot closer. No, that's Ayman Hakim, isn't it? But he's not overtaking. He's just sitting there.
So Ayman Hakim is there. I tell you who's really close, Alex. Muhammad Ali Hamilton has closed into Kalen Chin, and Kalen can see the championship leader right behind him. 1:25 to go. We'll just break away from Muhammad Ali at the moment, because Josh Perwin is the man who is leading away. Let's go back to the front, Alex, and Perwin is leading the way. Perwin versus Naqib. Naqib is waiting to pounce on the final lap. He's not going to overtake yet, is he?
No, but look at it. They're all going so slowly right now.
Inigo's closed into a second.
Yeah, look at that, because no one wants to lead across the line. Wow, it's going to become a 4-way battle for the lead. It is. It's going to be a 4-way battle for the lead. Because look at that, Anton is within 8 tenths. So now Josh is like, okay, God, I got to go. But he doesn't want to go, but he has to go now because the other 2 cars are too close. So Naqib's in the perfect position. But cars in 3rd and 4th, they're also within DRS range of the leaders.
Okay, so it is a final lap sprint. This is through the S's. Perwin is a sitting duck. Naqib Aslan prepares to go past. Naqib is the new race leader. He was patient enough just to sit on Josh's shoulder until the final lap, and now Josh will come under pressure from the likes of Tadashi in P3. Josh shouldn't look ahead of him, Alex. Josh should look behind him.
Yeah, so look at that. He's got to, because the 2 cars behind him have got DRS, and look how Ayman is just closing in on Josh. Half a lap to go, and it's not certain that Josh is going to finish second at the moment.
He's lost 0.7 of a second. Naki Baslan is half a lap away from his first victory of the season. But Josh Perwin, oh, he's under pressure now because Tadashi is there, and Tadashi can see Perwin. Okay, we're coming to the last half of this lap, Alex. Is Perwin going to hold on?
Yeah, I think he's just going to hold on. 2 more corners to go. It looks good. So this is great for the championship for Nakib and Perwin, because this will be good points for them.
So it's won by Nakib Aslan. Josh Perwin does indeed hold on to P2. Tadashi 3, Anton 4. Ali picked up, Muhammad Ali picked up P5 ahead of Kalen Chin. Presley Martono, a very good 6. But your race winner, Alex Young, is Nakib Aslan.
Yeah, fantastic result by Nakib. Great pace and just played that strategically to perfection. Let's see if we can talk to Nakib right now. Nakib, talk us through your race.
It was, like I said in the beginning, it was a 200-mile-an-hour chess game. We had a decent start. Josh came up to us, and we were clear of 1 second to P3. So the smart thing to do was work together, and we did that. So props to Josh for that. He drove really well. But yeah, I think I timed my perfect time. I moved to good timing and got away with the win.
You really tried to mid-break, halfway through the race, you tried to have a break and try and break that 1 second. Weren't quite able to do it, but was that what you were trying to do?
Yeah, so I saw that I opened up a gap and I was like, okay, let's try and break it. But he just got in the 1 second each time, so I was like, okay, you know what, okay, let's back it down and play smart again. So thankfully it went well for us today.
All right. Well, great job, Nakib. What's the strategy for race 2? I know we always ask this and you never tell us, but is it possible that there might be a 2-stop strategy for race 2? I know tire wear's ×3 only, but the tire wear's pretty bad here, isn't it?
It is really bad, especially with the understeer we're having. We'll see. I think whatever the fast strategy is, will win the race. So stay tuned.
Okay. Thanks very much.
So confirmation, Nakib Aslan not only picks up the 25 points for the win, fastest lap as well. Josh Perwin, a very brave P2 for the Australian Black Odds Racing. Akeem back in form, P3. Inigo Anton 4. Alif, good result for Team Flash from P5. Kalen Chin 6. Martono and Rakmat making an all-Indonesian 7-8. Jason Tay is very decent. Hakimi, pretty quick in the top 10. Okay, so we've got race 1 out of the way. Let's head back to our main host in his home, Dan Woodruff.
Well, it's the first time the commentator's curse has actually done some good. I said earlier on in the show that Nakib Aslan hadn't won yet, and here he is, race 1 in round 3, back on the top step of the podium. Looking forward to seeing what we're going to have for race 2. But first, a very short commercial break, and then we'll be back with some highlights and more analysis.
Real-life motorsport is a team sport in the sense that in order to win, it isn't just down to the driver, it's also down to the team around that driver and how they set up the car. Those variables are also brought to the E1 Championship with the FRX 17.
Okay, so we chose the FX 17 because it's the fastest car in the RaceRoom game. It looks like a modern-day Formula 1 car. It's bigger, it's got big downforce, you've got the floor and the large front wing. So it sucks a lot of downforce. Very cool car, and more importantly, you can overtake in this car and we have excellent racing.
This car allows for a lot of setup changes as well. Loads of different things in the setup, the amount of fuel in it, the tires, so there's the strategy that comes into play as well.
Teams really need to get on top of that. They spend hours doing it. Like I was talking to one of the teams the other day, in preparation for the race event, they'll spend the first 3 hours just sorting out the driving, and then maybe another 6-7 hours after that just working on the setup.
You have shocks, you've got dampers, you've got springs, right? So how do they work around the corner? And all of these things are adjustable, and these are all very closely guarded secrets between all the different teams.
And it's all about maximizing the compromise of the car on the track and also the driving style.
It's a very, very tricky car to drive. Before E1 Championship, I actually never drove the car before.
ERacing 17 on RaceRoom, it's a handful. It's a fast F1 style car, and there's always some challenges to try to get the setup right and driving it right. So plenty for the drivers and teams to figure out and get used to for season 1.
These cars are a lot of fun, and I think mixing around with the DRS is also going to be interesting.
They're very tricky and they're very hard to get, all of it out.
Good for battling and overtaking.
Each car has its different way of driving, and the ERacing 17 requires a special style of driving it, but I don't think I want to share that. It has so much power and so much grip. It's really hard to find the limit with these cars.
Welcome back to round 3 of the E1 Championship at Watkins Glen. Looking back at race 1, it looks like we had less argy-bargy and a bit more ping-pong between the top two, constantly changing the lead. Did your dreams come true, Des, in race 1?
It was very tactical. It was very good racing. You've got to say that. You've got to admire it. I would like a little bit more smash bang wallop in the middle, but very, very good racecraft, which will please that fella just over there.
Well, you might get some more argy-bargy. We do have a reverse grid race coming up now, don't we?
And it was 13. You've spun the magic wheel, and it's the reverse grid will be the top 13 are reversed, which means that Jin Masvilton will be on pole. He's a good racer, is Jin.
Yeah, he is. Okay, you have the 15 kilos ballast, but we know he's capable of doing it well, staying at the front.
With race 2 coming up, we're going to have more argy-bargy, a bit more ping-pong, I am sure. But just putting a spotlight on the ERacing 17 quickly, the car that the drivers are using, as you mentioned in that video just now, Alex, it looks like a Formula 1 car. It's powerful, has a lot of aero, which means it has a lot of big wings on it that sticks it to the ground. With this fixed setup in the Joker format, which driver came out on top, managing that the best?
Well, it seemed to help Nakib a lot, didn't it? Nakib was very strong. Obviously, he won the race, fastest lap, pole position. But we saw Juktin do very well. He's running high in the top 10 as well from Hong Kong. So you saw some of the other teams maybe not so experienced with the car, about maximizing the setup. With this fixed setup, they were able to run a lot closer to the front.
And did we see some drivers actually struggle? That was a little bit surprising. Some drivers that we didn't expect to do as badly as they did today.
Yeah, I think Alif struggled a bit more than I thought. So did Kalen Chin, really. So maybe Kalen Chin's setup is actually really, really good as well. Who else struggled a bit there? I think the second Stratos car, Scudero Stratos also struggling a bit. They were outside the top 10 quite a bit as well. But it could still does prove, mostly, we still get the guys at the front, even with fixed setup or open setup. So we still see the best drivers at the front.
And what about Inigo Anton? I mean, that's a driver that we've spoken about a lot in both Season 0 and in the first 2 races, or 2 rounds, I should say, of Season 1. We've bigged him up a little bit, and I feel like he's delivered in race 1 and in qualifying.
Nakib.
No, Inigo.
Sorry.
Inigo. It was a top 4, top 5 for Inigo, I think it was.
Yeah, but you're right. They were a bit affected today, because normally we see Inigo going for pole. He didn't quite get a pole position. 4th position. I thought he'd be in the fight for the win, so yeah, maybe the fixed setup has affected him slightly.
Good. Fixed setup. Change these rules every so often, Alex. Don't make it easy for the racers. That's the point. Get us rain. RaceRoom, get us rain.
Well, it's not going to be easy in race 2. By any means. They have the Joker format with the fixed setup, and they're going to have that longer 30-minute race, and they're going to have tire strategy coming into play. So, as you were saying earlier, Alex, I'm looking forward to what kind of poker people will be playing. But before we get to that, let's take a look at the highlights from race 1.
Okay, race 1, we saw poleman Nakib Hassan get off the line well, and he led. But then this guy, Josh Perwin, in the black and red Black Arts car, then took the lead, and they were fighting back and forth. Actually, they were helping each other, trying to get away from these guys who are all battling behind him. Huge battles in the midfield. And because the front 2 worked well together, they were able to use the DRS and pull out a gap. That gap did close down right at the end because they were playing tricks with each other. No one wanted to lead over the line. And in the end, Josh led over the line this last lap, and that allowed Nakib to overtake him to take the win.
And pick up the fastest lap as well. 27 points then, the 2 extra bonus points. Perwin, Tadashi in P3. Inigo got 4 as expected. Alif scrambling at 11 points. That will help him. Kalen Chin up there. Impressed that Presley's got another top 8 position. Jason Tay I like very much. And Hakimi, you look out for Mika Hakimi in race number 2, because he is suddenly driving very, very well.
All right, and ahead of race 2, I'm going to hand it over to Alex and Des. Let's go and speak to some of the drivers on the grid.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we should speak to Josh. Josh Perwin from Australia in Black Arts. He did finish second in that race, but he must be super disappointed. Let's see if I can get him first. There we are. Black Arts Racing. Josh Perwin.
Who's coming, I think.
Tell us, but yeah, I know you must be disappointed. You're really looking forward to try and win your first E1 race. You got really close there. Take us through your race.
Well, I was a bit disappointed with qualifying. I made a bit of a mistake in my lap. I could have probably got pole, but anyway, front row was still a good start. Me and Nakib were kind of just playing DRS games, making sure we kept that gap to the cars behind. And to be honest, I just kind of wanted to get points for the team because we've had a very poor first 2 rounds. So on that second last lap, I knew that whoever was leading the last lap wouldn't win the race. But I was trying to kind of go a bit wide, see if Nakib would try and slot past me, but he was staying back and Inigo Anton almost caught up to us. So I played it safe, just got the second place and brought home some points for the team.
Okay, so I mean, that's an improved performance. I mean, that's 2 races in a row now. You've been fighting for the win. Fighting for podium positions, but of course 2 very different races. The last race we had open setup, and this race we had fixed setup. So has it really affected your chances of staying at the front? Because you're still at the front.
Well, I think our setup is very good. So we knew that this round it might be a bit different, it might be a bit slow. But Watkins Glen is one of my favorite tracks normally. So I think as well, it's just a track that I enjoy. So I did a lot of practice for this, trying to get used to the fixed setup. So. Yeah, I think we adapted quite well, but yeah, it is definitely a lot different.
That's right. I've seen you win. I've seen you dominate qualifying in races in other games at Watkins Glen. So, I mean, now we've got the race 2, obviously. You're going to start in P12. Think you can get to the front?
I hope so. In some other series, it's been kind of tough to get through the pack at Watkins Glen because it's the huge DRS trends that are created. So it'll be interesting to see if it's the same today. Because I know me and Nakib in another series, we struggled to get through the pack because it's just everyone's just within that 1 second and no one can really overtake. But it might be different, so we'll just try our best and make sure to capitalize on any mistakes of anyone ahead.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Josh. I know you got to get ready for race 2. Good luck.
He speaks very well, doesn't he, Josh?
Yeah.
He talked us through his whole strategy. I like the fact he was saying I just wanted to get some points on the board as well. Another who got points on the board, Ayman Akeem Tadashi.
Yes, Ayman. Good result there, P3. It looked like you were playing the strategy games a little bit and just waiting for the right time to strike. Was that what was happening?
Yeah, that's what I learned from Inigo himself from ERGP. So I can't. It's just that I don't really want to do some resting what he did in ERGP, so I can't improvise what he did, and that's about it.
Yeah. How was it with the car setup? Have you been struggling to get more to the front because we're at fixed setup, or do you prefer the fact that we're at fixed setup this weekend?
It can be double.
Double better or double worse? Or plus and minus?
Plus and minus. I mean, it's just going to show that, without a setup, maybe a certain driver can adapt to the car or not. Some drivers did. Obviously, congrats to Nakib, he won the race, and Josh finished in P2 as well. So, yeah, those 2 prove that, you can fight without having a setup as well.
Yeah. Okay, I'm not going to ask you what you're going to do for race 2, but do you think a 2-stop strategy could work?
I'm not so sure, if I'll be honest, but we can see in the race.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, obviously, Mika Hakimi, your teammate, we're not talking to him at the moment. How did Mika's race go? Because he was outside the top 10 for quite a while.
Obviously, he was doing a great job coming up for P16. I knew he had a bad qualifying, but he fought back. I know he's a fighter as usual. Yeah. He fought to the end of the race, so he managed to get into top 10, and now he's gonna start in P3 in the reverse grid. So there you go. It's a silver lining over there.
Yeah, and hopefully you can get up there to help him as well. Good luck.
Yeah, sure.
So we're definitely not going to be asking the drivers about their tire strategies anymore, but I'm going to ask you, Alex Young, what tire strategy do you think is going to work? Are we going to go hard? Are we going to go two-stop strategy?
I think it's going to go hard. I think everyone's going to try and do a one-stop strategy. If we're at times 4 tire wear today, I think two-stop might be the way to go because it is tougher on the tires here than, say, the last 2 races at Red Bull Ring and Hockenheim aren't as tough on the tires. But times 3 today, it's not as tough as times 4. I think they're going to go for a one-stop, hard. But I would love for someone to try and take a bit of a risk and try and do a two-stop strategy.
Well, we've seen some drivers take the risks on a normal race evening, but of course tonight we have that Joker format. Are we going to see some drivers play a Joker move when it comes to the strategy? Only time will tell. We have race 2 coming up very shortly, but first, a quick commercial break. See you soon. Hey guys, and welcome back to round 3 of the E1 Championship Season 1 here at Watkins Glen. We've had a lot of argy-bargy and ping-pong, a lot of slipstreaming in race 1. I think we're going to see a lot of that in race 2, and I predict a one-stop strategy, hard. That's what my money's on. We'll see. I like to be proven wrong. But we have race 2 starting very shortly, and walking you through the action are Alex and Des in the commentary box.
Thank you.
Well, he's made a prediction there, Alex, but I tell you, just in the practice screen that we've got of the races, Tadashi, Ayman Hakim has been on soft compounds for the last 5 minutes.
And we've seen some other drivers like Nakib and Alif on the medium compound. So, this is the last bit of practice for race 2. You wouldn't be practicing anything but the tire you're going to be starting on. So there might be some different strategies going up and down the pit lane. It'd be interesting to see.
Okay, so we are not far away. The guys are out on the practice. They get a minute and a half or so more. We had a chat. I'm loving the way the guys are responding to the questions because they're under a bit of pressure. They're driving, and then you're putting them on a Zoom screen and asking them live questions. They're telling us about race setup and tyre setup, and the adrenaline's pumping as well. It's all a big learning curve, this E1 Championship.
It is. And it's great that they're telling us about the race. Unfortunately, they're not telling us anything about the race setup or the strategy because we'd love to know that because we're guessing a little bit here on the commentary booth. But still, it's really good. It's good practice for them. And I tell you, but you know, I've noticed this thing with the sim drivers. The sim drivers, and it's probably the same for all esport athletes out there. You can do many things at one time. I've seen them just drive right at the limit and still have a full-on conversation. And they say they're used to it because they're used to driving and the mum's coming in and asking them things. So they're used to multitasking anyway.
And it is very good. Very young people normally, but Daniel Rain-Oy, I'm really rooting for Daniel to pick up some points. So he finished down the grid once again. What do those at the bottom of the pack, how can they improve their drives?
Working, just keep working. Some of the teams you can see they're starting to work with each other. So, because if you pool your resources, if you test together on the servers together, try different setups together, as long as you're open with it, you can help each other reach another level. And we see that happening with some of the teams. You know, Stratos Motorsports have 2 teams. I know sometimes they train with Flash. I know RSG sometimes train with other teams as well. So that's really what you need to do, just trying to spread your field to train with other teams and pool your knowledge.
Okay, we're just about ready. Practice is just about over. We're about to get into race number 2. We will try in this 30-minute race just to focus on those who are a little bit further down, the Leona Chins and the Wheel and Choice, because they're racing to the top of their capacity already. Of course they are. 55 seconds or so to go. So those who are picking up points, we will try and focus on them, Alex, and I'll try and ask you just to give us a little bit of insight into their thinking.
Absolutely. But anyway, we go. 40 seconds to go before the race starts. Nice having the little graphics. Watkins Glen. It's a beautiful day. We're approaching sunset, actually. And we're on for a reverse grid race.
Dan Woodruff is in isolation above us if you're watching on the screen. So, Dan, I hope you're all right. I hope the racing is making your COVID blues go away. It's great fun in the studio. Your seat is very tight, I've got to say, for my big bum.
Still alive. Highlight of my week.
Okay, the garage is gone. The reverse grid race, the top 13. So it's Jin Masvilton, who's a very, very useful racer. He will be in pole position, the Singaporean. Arif Azmi and Choi Ayman alongside them. Mika Hakimi, look out for him in P4. When the red lights go out, we are underway and we are on board with Jin Masvilton. Jin has made a really, really good start, but Choi Ayman has got off to an even better start. The Scuderia Stratos racer has flown away from Masvilton. Arif Azmi and Jason Taylor there as well. We've spoken about Troy and not being able to get his season running so far, Alex. This is one way to get your season going.
Yeah, really good as he comes through the inner loop right now. Just carrying with that speed. Scuderia Stratos leading the first race in this season. And he's got two of them up there because Azmi looks like he's going down the inside. And he has. Azmi has got down the inside and is now in front of Jin Masvilton.
What I do need to do, though, is I do need to tell you that Alif Hamilton is also making a very, very fine break. Alif, number 6 at the moment. He started down the grid, the championship leader, though. This ballast, we've not really explained the ballast to the viewers, have we?
Yeah, basically the top 10 from the previous round all have to carry a little bit of ballast. First place, that was Ali from the last round 2. He carries 15 kilos. Second gets 12, and then 10, then 8. All the way down to 1 kilo. So it's not a great deal ballast, but it is a little bit that you will notice it on tyre wear and a little bit on the lap time as well. But Alif there, he'll be really pleased with that, up to 5th position after 1 lap.
And Mika Hakimi is right behind him. We spoke about Mika. How about the man who won race number 1? Nakib Aslan started in P13. He's got himself, Alex, up to P11. Josh Perwin is right behind him in P12. This is the 1-2 from race 1. They are 11-12 coming to the end of lap 1.
So this is what Josh is talking about. When you're in the DRS train, because Josh has DRS, but so do the cars in front, it makes it really difficult to overtake. So even though they got DRS, they can't overtake. So this is what we're going to see. We're going to see the front few squabbling, but the guys in the midfield, which is what we're looking at now, they will struggle to make their way up. They're going to have to do their overtaking at another part of the track.
At the front, Choi Ayman is still leading from Jin Masvilton. A man who's made a move to the front, though, is Muhammad Alif Hamilton. He's got himself up into P4 and he's dragged Jason Tay and Mika Hakimi along with him. That is a very, very tasty Singapore duo. And Mika, I tell you what, I've got this. Mika is looking very, very... Oh, he's got a bit tight there.
Yeah.
Bit of contact alongside Kalen Chin. Kalen and Mika coming together.
Yeah, Kalen feeds his way through nicely. Oof, that was a bit of contact there. I think it's got set up because Mika got a little bit slowed down by Jason Tay, but he's through now. Look at that, Alif's going, he's looking to try and get into 2nd position. That's getting close, but at the front, Troy Ayman has broken the DRS to Jin Masvilton in 2nd.
There is Troy Ayman in P1. We'll break away from Troy. I was going to say, let's have a look at Daniel Ryan. Oi, Daniel is out of the race. I'm afraid Daniel is out. Leona Chin is way down as well. And our Vietnamese friends, Dang is down in P25. From Brunei, Lance Lau is in P23. Let's get back up to the very front, though, where Troy Ayman has got a 1.5 second lead, but the man behind him is Hamilton.
Yeah, and Hamilton is right there, but Alif, and he's breaking the gap to Masvilton in 3rd. He doesn't want to do that. He wants Masvilton to go with him because if Alif's all by himself, he's going to find it hard to close the gap to Troy Ayman. He's going to need Masvilton to try and stay within a second so they can help each other to close down the gap.
Okay, let's just have a look at Alif Hamilton. He's in P2 there. That's what he's got in front of him. He's inside a second. So he will have DRS on Troy Ayman as they come over the line. Oh, Hamilton has done that absolutely beautifully. And
wow.
it wasn't a case of him losing out. He's got DRS. Ayman doesn't. This could be a big move from Alif.
Yeah, this is really putting Alif, setting him up for the race win because he's finding it so easy to get to the front at the moment. and breezes past Troy Iman with the DRS, and he's going to be gone right now. And because the quicker cars behind him that can fight with him for the win, they're all getting held up in that train.
They are, well, lap 4, 25 minutes to go, but we could just have seen the manoeuvre that enables Alif Hamilton to take his 4th race win in 6. Still a long, long way to go. Troy has just got to hang in there, Alex. He's got to stay within DRS just to for confidence, if nothing else.
So if I was Alif here, I would use Troy. I wouldn't try and run away too much, because it's still a long way to go in this race. Why don't you keep Troy with you, use the DRS, try and do it like how Josh and Nakib did earlier, and try and pull a gap to the rest of the field. But unfortunately, I don't think Troy is able to go with him. Troy doesn't have the pace at this stage, and Alif is just going away.
It's over a second.
Yeah, so I think Alif has just decided that's it. I'm just going to try and run away at the front and be the hare and see if anyone can catch me.
Okay, let's look to P4, where Arif Azmi is battling with Jason Tay and Kalen Chin. So Arif Azmi currently in P5. He just lost a place to Kalen Chin. But this group of 3 look like they're working a lot closer together, Alex, or are they just scrapping?
Well, they're scrapping, and maybe they will help.
Oh, that was close.
That was close. Maybe they will help each other. And just another thing I just want to mention, Des, everyone is on the hard tyre. So we did think that people might try and do a different strategy, but everyone has gone for the hard tyre.
They did. So who was it? Who was Tadashi, who's in P13? He was playing mind games with us, Alex.
Yeah.
Have to have words. Little bit further down, let's move on to P6. Fadli Rahmat. He's in a bit of a train. It's an Indonesian train because Presley Martono is right behind him, followed by Jason Tay, and Nakib has got himself up into P8 now. Nakib has just made a move. Fadli and Martono, they are in shot for us at the moment. But Fadli is P5, Martono 7, Masvilton in between them.
Yeah, and Josh Perwin is up to P9 as well. So if those two can get to the front, maybe they can help each other to try and use each other to try and get closer to Alif. Because right now, Alif is 2 seconds in front of everyone. It's going to be very hard. Oh, look at that. Fadli goes across the line. He's got the DRS. He's using the last bit of DRS for this lap. And he's close enough to the car in front. So he'll still get another help. No, sorry, I'm going to take that back. Fadli is too far behind Azmi. So he will not get DRS. So that means Fadli's going to be a sitting duck as the cars behind him and use DRS to get closer. And there it is. You can see Martono. He's just going to overtake Fadli, his teammate.
Have a look at this as well, because Nakib Aslan is also making a move. There is Nakib in the lime green Stratos. He's just got past Masvilton. He's got Fadli and Martono in front of him. So Nakib, winner in race 1, is looking to make his way into the top 5 of race 2 on this lap, and still over 20 minutes to race. This is looking promising for Nakib. He's driving very smoothly.
Yeah, he is driving smooth. But all this fighting is just costing him right now, and all the while Alif is at the front moving ahead. Troy Iman's also done a good job. He's 1.8 seconds ahead of Kalen Chin. So they are running away at the front. But this is where the action is. You can see Nakib is there in the green and white car in P7. And in P8 behind, Josh Perwin is also going with him in the Black Arts car. But really what Nakib needs to do is he needs to really try and clear both JMX cars if he's going to be able to fight for the win.
Well, he's on the home straight now. They are going to go on to lap number 7. Nakib is behind the 2 Indonesian racers. The Phantom are not being Phantom-like. Josh Perwin, and quite rightly, I'd kind of ignored Josh. He's quietly made his way through to P8, hasn't he?
Yeah, and he has just within the DRS, so he'll be using that as well. But you can see the cars are quite a bit in front of him. He's not going to get close enough for an overtake this lap, but maybe the next lap.
Breaking away just for a little while. Jason Tay has dropped down. How about Joaquim Garrido, the second of the Filipinos? Normally very, very quick, but Joaquim just goes past Miko Nasi there to show you how much Miko is struggling. Joaquim Garrido into P17. Lance Lau is just behind these two, but Miko struggling. If Joaquim's going past him, and Miko looks very, very not too chuffed with life in the bottom right of the screen, does he?
No, he's not happy. He's not happy right now. He's not showing the sort of pace we know he can. So just struggling a little bit.
Wow, he's lost a lot of time.
Yeah,
that's Miko. He's lost. He's got. Tell you what, Arwin Tarunya's gone past him. Lance Lau and Jay Yang have all gone past Miko Nasi. At the front, though. At the front. This man is 3 seconds clear.
Yeah, and look how hard he's pushing. He's got a big lead there as well. Oof. Good 6-7 seconds ahead of the midfield battle right now.
And this is with ballast.
Yeah.
This is with an extra 15 kilos, is it 15?
Yeah, he's done this all in the first 2 laps. First 2 laps, just did a great job getting through the traffic, picked his moments perfectly, and he's just way out in front. And at the moment, with 20 minutes to go, you just wonder who could close down this gap, who could catch him.
So I will pose the question, Alex, who can close down that gap?
I would say, I know Nakib and Josh Perwin looked like they are quick enough to close down that gap, but at the moment they can't, because they're stuck behind the JMX Phantom cars and they just can't find a way through at the moment.
Well, Troy Iman is in P2, but he is being closed down, Troy, by Kalen Chin. Let's get on board Kalen Chin. Kalen got a P3 in race 1 last week, so he's been on the podium. I know that he's very, very quick, but he needs to get some points under his belt. Can lose it a little bit when the pressure's on Kalen. This time it's Kalen putting the pressure on Troy Iman.
Yeah. Well, Kalen's really, he's within DRS, so you know he's going to be making a move in this next lap. 6/10, yeah, that's close enough. I think that's close enough to get the move done before the inner loop chicane.
Okay,
as it goes through the S's right now. Let's ride on board with Kalen. Kalen's just closing down the gap through the S's. You don't overtake through the S's. Wait till after the S's. That's perfect. Good slipstream there. And he just leaves Iman behind. And he's in front by the inner loop.
They go into the inner loop, which is that little chicane, then the outer loop, and then down the boot, as they call it, which is a unique name, but it's also a unique part of the course as they come round the chute and to the toe and down onto the boot and the heel. Strange names, these Americans.
Well, I think Kalen's done a really good job this lap. He's now 2.7 seconds off the lead. Could Kalen find the pace to chase down the lead?
His last lap of 1:17.6, 4/10 faster than Alif was doing.
And this will be a good lap by Kalen. It looks like he's closing. What a story that would be if Kalen could close down the gap for the win. Because we know he's got the pace for it, but does he have the pace today to do it?
Well, everybody is in hard compound. Everyone started hard compound. Will anyone be brave enough to go hard soft, perhaps?
Yeah, someone can go a bit longer. Maybe someone might try and finish the race with the mediums and the softs, and that'll allow him to get them really quick over the closing stages of the race. But see, 2.5 seconds. Kalen's done a great job. 2.5 seconds.
He's closed it.
That's close, isn't it? He's closing.
Troy Iman in P3. Fadli Rakhmat is back in P4. Troy's closing.
And now Troy is helping himself. Maybe these two can...
Maybe they're going to work together, huh?
If they work... Oh, but then Troy just lost a massive amount of time through the inner loop chicane. But if they could work together, these two drivers could close down the gap to Alif.
Right, let's see where Nakib Aslan has got himself to. P5 is the answer.
He's just behind Fadli Rakhmat. So Rakhmat's done a great job to get up to P4. I don't know where his teammate Percy Martono is. Martono must have had a moment because he's dropped behind. But now Nakib is behind Rakhmat. So if these guys, it would be great if they could work together, because then they could try and close down the gap to the top 3 as well.
So there is Nakib looking back on to, well, it's Fadli, and Fadli Rakhmat's in P4. That's in the Phantom car. Then you've got the 2 lime green Stratos of Stratos Sports, and is that the Scuderia of Arif Azmi?
Yeah.
And then Josh Perwin, who has just been tracking Nakib, and there's still time, you know.
Yeah.
If one of these guys, Alex, is brave and goes long on the hard compound and has a 10-lap sprint on soft tyres.
That is possible. Or they could just go a bit more aggressive and go for the early pit stop, try and do the undercut. Or there goes Nakib, then just goes past the car and takes the lead now. And then look at Arif is going to follow him through. But not enough room there right now. And they fight. Yes, Arif gets through for the chicane.
That is a cracking little, they call it the inner loop, but it is a scary chicane, isn't it, where it's 4 corners in one. So Nakib up to P4, but it's a big, long gap from Nakib Aslan to Troy Iman. But Arif Azmi, he's having his best race of the season. Well, let's have a look at Kalen Chin. Troy Iman caught Kalen. Alex, they're working together, you know.
Oof,
they're working.
Well, they need to work in the correct way. If they start squabbling every corner, that would be the disaster to do. So they need to let each other through to work together. A bit like how Josh and Nakib were doing it in race 1. that last lap was not a good lap by the both of them, so I actually think they've been squabbling off camera, which is not the way to do it. That's just going to let Alif get away in the front.
As they move on to their lap 11, 4 seconds up the main straight, as Miko gets a slowdown penalty for track limits abuse. Our race leader is already, Alex, coming up to some back markers.
Yeah.
Alif Hamilton, he's new to the series this year. We've known him with his reputation. Gosh, he's blown the championship apart so far.
Yeah, I think Kalen Chin and Troy Harmon have been fighting unnecessarily because that gap was down to 2.5. It's now back up to 4 seconds. So Alif is looking, well, okay, it's still a bit early to say. Still got 15 minutes to go. But it looks like it's going to be very difficult for anyone to catch this man at the moment.
He's got a track all of his own. Watkins Glen is a lovely part of the world. It's the virtual Watkins Glen that we're bringing you, but it's a virtual monopoly from Muhammad Alif Hamilton, who leads as Filton gets a drive-through penalty. Let's go back to Kalen and Ayman, see if they are scrapping or working together. I think you're dead right, Alex, you called it.
Yeah, they're scrapping, they're not working together. They're not going to catch Alif. They're too far back now, and I don't think either of them have the pace to try and get up to the front.
But guess who's chasing?
Ooh, look at that. Nakib's up to 4th. Can he get closer to the second and third position?
Well,
Maybe.
he's made more than a second up on them. He has.
Yeah, but he's 8 seconds off the lead at the moment. That's just too far at the moment, if you ask me. But let's see. We're seeing crazier things happen here in the E1 Championship.
Pit stops when? If at all.
Very soon, I would imagine. It depends. I think we saw Nakib and Alif testing with the medium tyre earlier on. So I think they're going to try and get closer to the 10-minute mark. And if they get to the 10-minute mark, they put the mediums on and then just go to the end. But would Alif be aggressive? Would he try the softs maybe? If he tried the softs, maybe he could close that gap down.
Presley Martono is one of the first ones into the pits. Let's have a look. He was on a hard compound. He remains on a hard compound. Arif Azmi in the pits was on a hard, remains on a hard. So that's a fairly conservative strategy coming in from there. Where is Ayman Hakeem Tadashi? Oh, Tadashi's had a bit of a mare. Tadashi got a P3 in race 1, is way down in P12 in race 2. Where's his consistency?
Yeah, it's not going the way he wants it to at the moment. But I just want to go back to the front because I want to see if Alif will be coming in. But nope, he's not. He's still staying out for another lap. So he's done a really good with tire degradation at the moment.
A 1:18.7 his last lap, which is a full second slower than Kalen Chin. No, it's not. Kalen Chin's just done a 1:19. And Troy Ayman a 1:19.4. And Nakib an invalid lap. But he stayed out there. Who has gone in? There's a good scrap further down.
Let's see, Fadli Routman's coming
into the pits.
So the JMX car's a bit harder on tyre wear than everyone else, and I've had to pit right at the halfway mark. But it looks like the other cars have been a bit better with tyre wear and able to keep on going.
We've still got 12.5 minutes to race. Fascinated to see if anyone's brave enough to go on soft.
Inigo Anton's also in the pit lane. There he is, he's coming out. Good battle here. He's going to be really close between him and Fadli Rahman.
So Inigo currently in P10. Fadli right on his tail in P11. Let's have a look back to Alif. Is Alif coming to the end of his lap?
Yeah, let's see if Alif is coming in for the pit lane, shall we?
Well, at the moment, he's got 1 or 2 problems of back markers. And Alif Hamilton comes into the pits. Slams on the brakes very sensibly. Kalen Chin is the new race leader. So Kalen has stayed out. Troy Ayman has come in as well, I think.
Oh, and so's Nakib.
So's Nakib. Right. We'll look on the bottom right. Nakib, it's a hard at the moment. Is he brave enough to go soft?
Let's see what they change here. Let's see what Alif chooses. Alif right now should be coming in the pit. Look, I say teleport each other. That's kind of a cool thing. They can teleport in the pit lane. That doesn't happen in real life, I tell you.
Soft for Hamilton.
Wow, Hamilton's gone for the softs. That is brave.
Soft for Nakib. Soft for Mohammed Ibrahim. Soft for Troy Ayman. Soft for Jason Tay. 11 minutes for these tyres to survive.
Should be okay. Should be enough. I mean, they would have done the homework. Kalen Chin, though, I'm surprised he's able to go so long. He's done a great job with Mohamed Nabil, I think, got a drive through speeding the pit lane.
As did Troy Hyman.
So did Troy Hyman. Such a shame.
Oh, Troy was doing so well. Tadashi, what's Tadashi? Is Tadashi still out there? Tadashi hasn't come in yet. Surely not. Tadashi P5 at the moment. Now then, you couldn't go the full race without a stop, could you?
That's a good question. No, you have to stop, I think. What? 10
minutes?
Maybe.
10 minutes?
Oh, but his lap time is going to be so slow right now.
6 laps. He's just in a 1:17.8. Tadashi. So we were talking, or you were asking, are you going to go 2 stops? He's probably thinking, I'll really show you, Alex Young.
Go no stops. Anyway, Kalen Chin's in the surrendering his lead right now as he takes his pit stop. He'll be putting on the soft tires at the moment. But guess who's up to second? Josh Perwin is up to second.
Wow, as Kalen gets a drive-through penalty, speeding in the pit lane. Oh, it's these little things that really hurt. And it shows on the screen. I'm assuming that the drivers can see everything. They know their speed. They know when they're going to hit the line.
How is Josh in second position? Because he must have taken his tyre change. He's just done a much quicker pit stop than most of everyone. He's leapfrogged them up to second position.
He's still on hard compound, though.
He must have done his pit stop. But...
Must he? Yes, he must.
You know what I think he's done? I think he's changed just the front tyres. You don't have to change your 4 tyres. It's up to the teams what they want to do. And they've all been complaining about understeer. Maybe he's just changed the front tyres because he's in front of Nakib, where he was a couple seconds behind Nakib at the pit stop, and now he's 3 seconds in front of Nakib. Makes me think that he's only changed the front tyres.
The other one I'm fascinated to see about is Tadashi. Still out there. Still out there, Alex. Just done another 1:17.8. He's lapping pretty quickly. Was he just looking after his tyres? But then again, if the no stop, he's down in P5. So he can't afford to take a stop, not with only 8 minutes left. Kalen Chin just ahead of him in P4. There is Chin. Tadashi is behind them. And Mohamed Ibrahim is close behind Tadashi. In fact, Mohamed Ibrahim has gone past Tadashi. So if Tadashi, Ayman Hakim, as I should call him, is on a 0-stop strategy, it's not worked.
Yeah, it's not quite playing out for him, is it? He's just dropping back too much. There is Ibrahim there now up to P5. We haven't seen much of Ibrahim so far today, but he's coming up to the top 5 now.
He does that. He quietly picks up seconds and thirds and fourths, points here, points there. That's how he was second in the standings before this weekend. This midweek, E1 Championship, round 3 of 8. Suzuka next week, United States this week. Virtual travelling is allowed. It's much easier in the virtual world.
Ibrahim here coming down through turns 9 and 10. Couple more corners to the end of this lap. He's not really closing down the gap at the moment though, but he looks quite comfortable there in 5th position. Kalen Chin though, he's got that drive to himself though. He's in P4 right now, but I'm not sure he's going to stay there.
What we're seeing up at the front though is Nakib Aslan is in P3. Hamilton still in P1. Gosh, he's just too good. He just has it right. You look as he goes around the track, it's like he's on rails, perfectly balanced. That's beautifully done from Alif. Picks the right line, hits the apex, oh, superb from Alif. As Jay Yang gets a drive-through penalty. Perwin, although he's driving well, is dropping back, and Perwin, Alex, as we go on to Josh Perwin as he comes through, we'll see if Kalen Chin is in the horizon. Kalen Chin is indeed on the horizon at the top of the brow of the hill, and Nakib Aslan is very close to Kalen Chin as well.
Yeah, so it looks like Kalen got past, must have used DRS to get past Nakib at the moment. But now look at that, it's all in shot there, 2nd, 3rd and 4th position. And it's just a question whether, whoa, Nakib there, track limits there, he has to watch out for that, he's pushing really hard. Oh, there's Josh going the pit stop. Okay, so he hadn't pitted. He was going for a very long first stint. But yeah, he's done a really good job with tyre conservation. but I think he would have sacrificed a lot of lap time because that's going to drop him right down to the bottom of the top 10.
Josh is still out there, isn't he?
No, he's just gone to the pit lane. I think.
No, that's him. He's out there. He's just been overtaken.
Sorry, excuse me. That must have been another black and red car I saw going to the pit lane.
No, Perwin is out there, but he's losing a bit of ground to Nakib.
Yeah, Nakib's definitely closing that gap, isn't he?
As Tadashi drops down below Mohammed Ibrahim, Inigo Antan closes on them. Josh Perwin, P3. Let's look backwards from Josh Perwin to Nakib Aslan. Is Nakib coming over the brow of the hill? Yes, he is. It's an ominous lime green. You can pick it out. And then behind them, Mohammed Ibrahim's not too far behind either, Alex.
Yeah, like you said, he softly comes and comes good at the end of the race. But as we look at the back of the Black Arts car, you can just see the green and red Stratos Motorsports cars, and it's within a second now as he goes through the last corner. So he's going to get DRS of this lap, and that's a battle on for second position then.
So Nakib Aslan with 4.5 minutes to race can close in on Josh Perwin. Josh was frustrated to only get P2 in race 1. It looks like he's going to be denied P2 in race 2. It's good points, but there is Nakib Aslan. Times it beautifully, goes past Josh Perwin, serenely does it. Couple of back markers to worry about, and it caused a problem. Josh is pushed wide.
Yeah, they both went wide there. But yeah, so I think they had their one eye on the traffic, and it is very difficult, that inner loop. You go through that corner so quickly, and you just go over the curb just the wrong way, you will go wide there.
Leona Chin is the lady who has just been passed. She's down in P24. Nico Nassi struggling as well. He'll be the next for them to try and overtake him, P23. But Nakib, let's see if Perwin is now under pressure as well. Perwin will lose out to Mohammed Ibrahim in just a second as Leona again just gives way.
I think Josh has made a mistake. Is he still going on the no stop? I don't know. I think he's struggling with the tyre weather. We need to talk to him later because I'm not sure how he ended up this position. But yeah, he's struggling for grip at the moment. He's on the hard tyre, and Ibrahim on the soft tyre has just got too much pace, and it's just going to be a matter of time, and Ibrahim's going to be by as well.
Well, he tried the zero stop, it looks like. So did Ayman Hakim. Ayman Hakim holding on to P5 as Perwin does indeed lose P3. Mohammed Ibrahim sneaks through quietly again. What an impressive performer Mohammed Ibrahim is. There he is, bottom left of your screen. Very unprepossessing. Simply goes about and picks up points here, there and everywhere.
Yeah, really. I would like to see... I got a feeling, I bet you anything, Ibrahim will be winning a race before the end of the season. I'm very impressed with how he's quietly gone along his way and just got better and better as the season's gone on.
So Alif leads, Nakib second, Ibrahim third, Perwin is now fourth. Let's go to our race leader, Mohammed Alif Hamilton, because he has just been sensationally on the soft compound, not exactly killing it, but he has had a 1:16.4. Fastest lap belongs to Mohammed Ibrahim, a 1:15.5. The only guy in the 1:15s.
Wow, so Ibrahim coming in with some great pace. Where's his pace in qualifying? If he had this pace in qualifying, 15.5 for this sort of race is stunningly quick. Don't forget, Paul was a 14.9. So to be doing a 15.5 now in the race makes me think Ibrahim would be 14.5, which would be Paul by a long way. So Ibrahim's pace, wow, it's serious.
Okay, Alif leading by 4 full seconds. He's only got, 1:20 to go, which is the end of this lap plus one more. Yeah, the end of this plus one more.
So good recovery drive by the championship leader. Didn't quite have the pace in qualifying in race 1, finished 5th, but made great use of great start, great 2 laps where he made his way through the cars in front and then broke the DRS.
Hey, I just need to draw some attention. Josh Perwin has gone past Mohammed Ibrahim.
Wow, he's got back by him.
And to that, so obviously Ibrahim was caught up with some back markers. Is Ibrahim struggling? He's on the soft compound. Josh is on the hard compound, but those tyres should be shredded.
They're playing. No one wants to lead across the line. So this is the battle for the last position on the podium, and no one wants to lead across the line. And now it's Josh within DRS of the car in front. Can he get DRS because that's a back marker?
That's a back marker, yeah. So maybe Ibrahim was just slowing down. That's a curious battle for P3.
Here he is. Look, Josh is trying to defend the inside. Ibrahim's going to go around the outside. Who's going to hold on? Oh, there's contact between the two of them. But Ibrahim just makes it through.
Ibrahim outlasts Josh Perwin. Who's that? Oh, Ibrahim what's happened there?
Incident points. He got disconnected.
Mohammed Ibrahim drops into the pits, drops out of P3 and out of the race. So Muhammad Alif leads, Nakib second, Josh Perwin will be in P3. Wow, what a strategy from Perwin.
Yeah, so Ibrahim just went over the incident points. He only allowed 40 incident points in this race, and that's it. He's disqualified from the race. All his hard work done.
So let's just stick with the race winner. Makes it 4 wins out of 6. A debutant in the E1 Championship, but my word, what a terrific drive it is. Nakib will come through in P2. Josh Perwin comes through in a remarkable P3, and him and Ayman Hakim Tadashi in P4. Tadashi, I think he's on a no-stopper as well, but the race winner, Alex, is Muhammad Alif Hamilton.
Wow, great job by Hamilton. Alif, though, we need to try and talk to him because that was a good drive. See how he constructed. I just got to find his thing here. Team Flash. Alif, what a great drive. You got to take us through that race. I think he's muted at the moment. See if we can talk to Alif right now. Yeah, talk us through your race, man.
Wow, 7th place. Yeah, I mean, it was a roller coaster sort of race. Had a good start. Made my way forward to I think up to P2. Yep. And then after we got the gap in P1, my only focus was just head down and just lap after lap, because I know Nakib would be able to catch up at the end with all the DRS. So that was my main goal. Really to just head down, and I can thankful that it played out well.
Well, you still got a nice sizable gap in the championship, so well done there. But
Thanks,
how do you feel about the weekend so far? You didn't look very happy after qualifying in race 1.
Yeah, I mean, qualifying for me was scruffy. It wasn't the lap that I wanted, but it's fine. I mean, we had a good recovery to P5, which is all about this. When you get knocked down, you gotta find ways to recover back, which was pretty nice. But yeah, DRS train in race 1, that was crazy, and just pleased to come away with the win in race 2.
Okay, well, I mean, well done, Alif. Good damage control, shall we say? We look forward to seeing you at the next race.
Thanks, man. Cheers.
Alif from Nakib Aslam, from Josh Perwin. Ayman Hakim in P4. Love to hear their strategies of Perwin and Hakim. Jason Tay 5. Inigo Anton a good 6. Martono's getting better. Azmi in 8. Troy Ayman 9. Joaquim Garrido in P10 for the GT Radial Your Asia Motorsport. Mohammed Nabil P11. Another good race. Okay, what we're going to try and do is we're just going to sort ourselves out, the standings, etc. And we'll send you up to the big man. Oh, he's over there. Oh, he's over that side, isn't he? Daniel, welcome back into the show. Enjoy that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, once again, Watkins Glen has delivered. My only bit of disappointment was me getting the winning tire strategy slightly very off. But I tip my proverbial hat to Alif Hamilton for restarting his winning streak. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more orange at the front of the grid throughout the rest of the season. That is all of our racing done for tonight. But to everybody watching, don't go anywhere, as we have more analysis and highlights coming to you right after this break.
Flash are one of those esports specialists, arguably one of the biggest teams in Southeast Asia.
Now for your world champions!
It's the first time they've come into ERacing at the E1 Championship, and I've been shocked at how good they were.
I'm Alif.
My name is Jason.
I'm Tasbi and I was the E1 Round 1 driver for Team Flash.
Flash have been quite clever. They've picked drivers who've got a lot of good experience, especially on the RaceRoom platform.
Alif and Jason, they are both very experienced and very independent drivers. I can safely say that Alif should be one of the favorites.
Alif Hamilton really showed his worth in Season 0 as a guest driver.
The last run of E1 Season 0 in Bathurst, I think finished P5 or P4. Could have been better.
Alif is a driver that extracts the fullest potential of any car he drives. He is consistently quick.
Coming into Season 1 with Team Flash and with his brother, they really cemented their name in the championship.
This is allowing Nakib to get away at the front. This is exactly what Alif wants. His brother helping him out.
The two brothers, they did really well. They finished right at the front, both on the podium.
This is my first time joining E1 in a full season, and I did not expect myself to be consecutively in P1 for the first 3 races. I feel very satisfied to have started the season in such a strong fashion.
I've known Alif since back in 2017. That was when I knew the fastest sim racer in Singapore.
Alif Hamilton is leading the way.
Tasby, he's going to try and help his brother. Jason Tay has gone up to 3rd place, doing a great job.
Alif, who takes victory here, Hockenheim.
Mohammad Tasbi really made a name for himself in just the one round that he participated in.
I think I felt that I helped my brother quite a bit in Red Bull Ring. We work really well together and we get the best out of each other.
Jason Tay came in round 2, placed Tasby, and he didn't finish on the podium, but he's always in the top 5.
My role is to, of course, get as many points as possible for the team and secure the next highest spot of the individual championship.
He knows where to attack and where to defend.
I'd be very surprised if Alif keeps winning.
The race win goes to Alif Hamilton, a race winner for the 2nd time. Alif Hamilton.
I think that Team Flash's Season 1 E1 performance has been a bit lucky.
They've got 2 of the best drivers in Singapore.
I expected Team Flash to be right up there immediately.
You cannot underestimate these guys.
They're the Mercedes of E1 now.
I think we can go pretty far.
Let's battle it out on track.
See you on the track.
It would be fake of me to say that we are not looking to finish at least top 3.
Welcome back to the E1 Championship Season 1. Now, Team Flash is a team that we've seen a lot of in Season 1 so far. Of course, it's hard to miss those orange cars at the front of the grid. And right now, they're the single biggest threat to Stratos Motorsports in defending their team championship crown. Now, Alex, Des, we're very early on in the season, so it's too early to call. But which teams are in the best position to take Team Flash to the title fight?
Good question. I think Stratos Motorsport, obviously, you know, you saw today how well they did with Nakib as well. So it's going to come down to the second driver a lot, I feel. We saw how strong Mohammad Ibrahim is with Stratos Motorsport. So the two of him and Nakib can keep scoring good points. That will be doing well. But Ibrahim did get disqualified in the second race just now, so that's going to affect their team total. But I think that's going to be a very close fight because at the moment, because Jason Tay did not have a great day today either. So both of those teams, the second drivers, didn't pull too many points today.
And Team RSG, of course, let's not forget them.
Yeah.
Team RSG, they've got Tadashi, who can be very, very quick. Yeah. He had a good race 1, not so good race 2. And I'm just expecting Mika Hakimi to explode. But he didn't on race 2 today. My prediction was wrong. So the dunce's hat for me today.
Well, we can take a look at Team RSG a little bit later on, but just one more question on Team Flash with the second drivers. Of course, Alif's teammate Jason Tay struggling a little bit today. Do you think that this is just a one-off bad day, or do you think he really has to buck up to help extend his team's lead across the course of the season?
Well, it's a good question, but I think it might just be an off day. We saw a lot of drivers there with bit off days. You know, Mika Hakimi had an off day. You know, Inigo and Wacky Garrido, they didn't have very good days as well. So there was, I think, we did mix up the orders a bit going to this fixed setup. You know, we saw some other drivers up there and doing well as well. So let's see how it goes next race. We see, obviously, we go back to open setups for the next race, and we'll see if he comes strong then.
All right, well, some drivers having an off day. Let's have a chat with 3 of our drivers who haven't had an off day. They've had a very good day. I'll hand it over to you, Alex, Jürgen, and Des, to speak to some of the drivers in our top 3.
Yeah. Well, should we talk to Josh? Let's go try and talk to Josh Perwin, shall we?
His strategy. I need to
Josh,
know.
we need to know about the strategy, because before the pit stop, you were a good couple of seconds behind the Nakib. Then after the pit stop, you did do a pit stop, didn't you? Did you?
Yeah, I did do a pit stop, yeah.
But after the pit stop, you were 2 seconds in front of Nakib. So what was the strategy there? How did you do that?
Well, I think it's just because we pitted a lot earlier, because those last laps on the hard, it's so difficult to get the lap time out of it. So, and I don't know how they got the hard soft strategy to work. The best that we could have done probably is hard to hard, because by the time that I pitted, I only had like 8 or 7% tire wear left. So I don't know how they did the extra 2 laps. But so we were kind of surprised that everyone stayed out of it longer. And I think, I don't know, maybe they just lost so much time in those last couple laps in the hards that ended up paying good dividends for us in the end. And I think I was second for a bit there.
Yeah, so that was an undercut then. Okay, so the undercut strategy, because we missed you going in for that early pit stop. We thought you pitted at the same time as Nakib. So I actually thought you just pitted and changed the front tires. But yeah, so the undercut almost worked. Still though, 2 podiums. You know, that's good. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah, I was definitely surprised, because we started I think like 12th, and I was struggling to make my way through the field at the start. But I think as all the drivers started to fall or get drive-throughs and just managed to overtake a few, we ended up in a good position. So yeah, really happy about that.
Yeah. All right. Good. So onwards and upwards onto the next race. Do you think you can get think you can get your first win in E1?
Yes, got the momentum going now, so it's possible.
Okay. Well done, Josh, mate. Look forward to seeing you next week.
And the other one I'm really keen to hear about on strategy, because I didn't see him go in, was Akeem Tadashi. Or are we going to talk to Nakib and see how he went on?
Yeah, let's try and talk to Ayman Akeem after this, but let's talk to Nakib first. Let's see if we can talk to Nakib now. Hi guys, just coming into your Discord.
Hello.
Nakib, that was a good recovery, not bad up to second position. Talk us through your race.
Yeah, so knowing that the reverse grid, we knew this track was going to be difficult, especially with how strong the DRS is, so it's always going to be bunched up. And it was evident, you know, in that first stint, really getting stuck behind the 2 JMX cars. So really just trying to stay patient and working through my way patiently. So yeah, I think the key was to take into account of the incident points and whatnot. And after the stop, I was really surprised how Josh jumped everyone. I think he had a massive undercut, but thankfully we had the decent strategy going onto the soft tires, being able to catch up to him and overtake him.
Could you have stopped any earlier and still put on soft tires, or were you out of soft tires in the end?
Yeah, it was really tight. I think we were really close on the tires, so I think all in all, I think we scored some decent points for race 2. Alif was a bit too far out of reach, sadly. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are the overall winner for round 3, so you will cut into that championship lead into Alif. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think you can close down the gap for the end of the season?
Yeah, for sure. I think the aim for everyone, I think, in this championship is to win. So it's our aim, no different. But I think the important thing is to take it one race at a time.
Yeah.
A big relief that we got some decent points finally this round after some disappointing rounds previously. So hopefully can take that momentum into upcoming rounds.
Okay, well, good luck for the rest of the season, and we'll see you next week. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Got to remind people that there's double points on the last round of the season.
Of course, double points.
Which absolutely demolish. If somebody goes in with a big lead and they have a bad last round,
Excellent.
It's over. Okay, well, let's try and talk to Ayman Akeem. Tadashi, we were seeing you trying to. Were you trying to make a no-stop strategy work for the feature race?
No, I just made a very massive undercut.
Oh, you went for a very early pit stop, just like Josh. You went for the early pit stop. So how the tire wear before the end of the race? You must be struggling.
Oh. You have no idea. When I saw Jason was chasing me like 2 seconds per lap, I was like, God damn it, these guys didn't even tell me that Josh is chasing me. Like, oh my god, I just had to look at it. I see like Josh, that was like what, 3 seconds, and the last was like what, 0.9, 0.8, like, dude, this guy.
How much tire wear did you have at the end? 0?
I don't know, as good as... I don't know, as good as Lewis Hamilton's 2008 when he still doesn't have a hair. 0.
So practically nothing. Well, anyway, well done. You got some good points today. Congratulations and good luck. See you next week.
See you as well, Alex.
See ya.
exactly what he's feeling in that moment. Now, let's take a little bit of a look back at race 2, at the highlights, and then our top 10 results from that race.
Okay, so race 2, the reverse grid race, we saw Troy Iman just disappear at the front, and he actually broke the DRS. We thought he was going to stay out for long, but then Alif made it through, and only I think it was on lap 4. Did a great, first 3 laps were amazing, and then he was able to overtake Troy and left him. Troy just not able to go with him. Kalen Chin then had a great battle with Troy for second position, and then before he managed to pull away. Not a tidy pit stop for him though, and this allowed the Stratos guys, Nakib and Ibrahim, to get up in front of Josh Perwin. Ibrahim on the last lap got disconnected for going over the incident points, but anyway, back at the front, Alif won the race with Nakib second and Josh third.
Alif Hamilton back into winning form, 25 points for him. Nakib second, 2 podiums for Josh Perwin today. Tadashi in a P4. Jason Tay, I think we underestimated him, a P5 for him, and 11 points. Inigo Anton, another top 6 position for Inigo. Very, very good. 2 Filipinos in the top 10. Joaquim Garrido with his best result for a while, picking up 6 points for P10. Overall for today then, Naki picking up 52 points. That's not too shabby, is it? He's just 5 shy of the perfect race weekend. 52 out of a possible 57. Josh Perwin 40. Alif is human. A 0 and a P5 in race 1 and then 25 in race 2, just to say he's superhuman human. Tadashi picks up 30 points. Inigo, a very good weekend for him as well with 26. Jason Tay picks up at 18. So does Presley. Fadley in the points as well. And Arif and Troy Armin, Scuderia, Stratos both picking up 12 apiece. Still got improvement, but that's their best weekend by quite some way.
Looks like the Joker format delivered in race 2 as well as race 1 and qualifying. We might need to bring this back to other rounds, Alex.
Yeah.
You can have a word with the rest of the team as race director. Now, looking forward to next week, our next race at round 4. We're going to be leaving that part of the world. We're going to go back to Asia. We haven't been to Asia yet. We're going to go to Suzuka in Japan. Now, that's one of my favorite tracks, but I also know that's one of your favorite tracks, Des. Why is that so?
I've got to say it's mainly for motorbikes. I've done a lot of commentary on motorbikes up there, and it is a beautiful, beautiful circuit. It's undulating, you've got long straights, big parabolic curves, and just coming into the final straight, a chicane that would terrify any mortal person. I'm assuming it's terrified you in the past, Alex.
Absolutely, all the time.
It's a wonderful circuit.
Well, I don't like to talk about those 2-wheel racers. We talk about 4-wheel racers on this show. But I do agree, it is a beautiful circuit with some of the best fans in the world. Japanese fans are the best. Of course, we have them digitally in the show. Alex, have you raced there before?
Oh, many times indeed. Yeah. It's a great track. It's up and down and very fast corners. A little bit like Watkins Glen. Hard to overtake, but still a great challenge.
All right, well, you have that experience at Suzuka. Why don't you walk us through the track and give us a little bit of a sneak peek?
Okay, so obviously it is actually a difficult track to get on top of. It is hard. You see how close the barriers are. You make a small mistake, you're in the barriers, big accidents, destroying cars. So it's one that really commands utmost respect. And if you're not confident, if you're not dialed into this track, you tend to be way off the pace. Here we have some of the corners here. It's also the only figure-of-8 track in the world at the moment. Well, at least it is the only figure-of-8 grade 1 track in the world.
Well, I can't wait for next week to come about because I get out of my quarantine and Suzuka comes about, my favorite track on the calendar. Before we get there, let's wrap up the show by taking a look at the overall championship standings after round 3.
Okay, so it's Alif leading by 137 points, but Nakib has really dug into that lead, 107 points for him. Tadashi edging out Mohamed Ibrahim. I tell you what, that race 2 disqualification hurt Ibrahim. Remember, you can drop one round of points. Josh Perwin. Josh is coming good, 58 points for him. This season is by no means over, but Alif and Nakib are the 2 superstars so far after 3 of 8 rounds. Team standings. Well, Alif and Jason Tate accumulated 209 points. That is 40 clear of Nakib and Mohammed Ibrahim, who really is a quiet accumulator of points. Also making it up to the 100-point mark, Miko Hakimi and Tadashi. And ERacing GP, Jin Masvilton and Mohammed Nabil. That's a great performance, because those guys have got to qualify before they are able to race. So great consistency, and glad to see that Josh and Alistair, who raced today, are in the top 5 as well. There's some good races there. 1, 2 and 3 though, all above 100 points after 3 rounds. Very impressive.
And that's all we have for tonight, folks. You can catch more of our action at Suzuka in Japan at round 4, the same time next week. That's 9 p.m. on Wednesday on the EGG network. Also, don't forget to follow us on our Facebook pages, on the E1 Championship and the EGG network. My special thanks to Alex and Des in the studio. I'll see you gents there next week. I'm Daniel Woodruff. Take care. Be safe.